sweet friends, and welcome to Apricity. My name is Rachael, and today I'm going to be sharing 15 tips that changed my life. The first one I would say is while your theta waves are strong, which is hypnotic, you really want to set your intentions and goals for the day. So for me personally, I like to think of a spiritual, a physical, a mental, and emotional goal. Oftentimes they overlap, like today, but it's really important to do that so that it really sets the tone of the day. Commit to doing a somatic therapy every day. If you can do one, it will make a massive difference. So what does that look like? Wim Hof breathing and cold plunges, grounding, earthing, binaural beats, and frequency. There are so many more, but movement is the one I'm going to be doing today. Focus on decisions rather than choices, as I find that decisions can really give way to more expansive and vast beautiful opportunities, whereas choices kind of feel binary, like one or the other. And maybe that works best for you if you don't like the big picture, but for me personally, I really like to think about things as the big picture. I said big picture how many times? But what I think about it is that it really creates this desire of wanting when you have choices, whereas decisions to me make me feel more present. And I find that when we are doing law of attraction, we end up, attracting versus chasing when we have decisions. So today, instead of limiting myself to say I'm in bed or out of bed, I say first I'm going to make the bed, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. So it meets me in the moment. Let's get going. So one of my personal favorite people, his name is Joe Dispenza, and he says that your personal reality becomes your personality, or your personality becomes your personal reality. And what I find that to mean is that the simple, small things add up to be quite large things in the end. So if you can pick apart tiny little things like meal prepping or being positive or working out, those things add up in the long run to make your whole existence. So young Pueblo said, true power is living in the realization that you are your own healer, hero, and leader. And what I find that to mean is that even in the darkest night of the soul, there's light to be found. There's always something that we can do. It's not fatal. We can do this, and you can do this too. Be like water, as Bruce Lee once said. He's so cool. I think that means to not be rigid and allow life to just happen, go with the flow. Water is strong enough to withhold cracks and boulders, but it's also malleable, and it goes with the flow, and it makes life a lot better when you're not fighting it. Now is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Have you seen that in Kung Fu Panda? Choose your destiny, not your history. Every day, every minute, every second is an opportunity to have the life you want to have. It may not happen overnight, but it's really important to attract, not chase. Be present and allow life to happen through you, and try to handle it with as much grace as you can. Drink water. I know it sounds so simple, so oversaid, but it's true. I noticed that when I started drinking water and juices that contain fiber, my life started to get insanely better. It's a phenomenal thing that I've noticed, that we're mostly water, and so if you pour your thoughts into the water, because it carries frequency, these are the Emoto studies, that you can say love, happy, joyful in the water and then drink it. But, it really is the saying that people say food is medicine. It's fuel. So you have to remember that I am on a chronic illness journey. I call it a health journey, just to be kind to myself. But if I'm being candid, today I did not feel like coming out today. I couldn't even imagine getting up out of bed today. But I just took very slow moments of gratitude to say, thank you for my bed. Let me make that. Thank you for the ability to wash my hands with my own hands. And I start to do that one step by one step by one step until I have the whole picture, which is me outside where I'm happy and thriving. Make the life you want to have, not the one you want to escape. Every day we have the opportunity to build on the kind of life that we hope to live. And I honestly look at life romantically. So it's the small moments of really taking in your coffee with the rain pouring down, lighting a fire and reading by it. Make the life that you envision, and it's almost cinematic. And ultimately, then you feel like you're living in a movie in the best way. Be a main character. Acknowledge your feelings. I think that people do not give credit to how important it is to emotionally process. It's just like if you eat too much sugar and you don't eat enough of greens or water, you can get sick. And so ignoring, evading, and distracting from your feelings is not going to make them go away. It will feel stifled in the body, in the fascia where it stores trauma. So movement is really important, not just talk therapy. Things like EMDR and those kinds of processes can really help, but they can also keep us in fight or flight in that stuck limbic system. So moving it out of the body is one of the best things I've ever done. Live life authentically, have boundaries, and choose your friends carefully. Friendships can really determine the kind of life we live. If it's toxic or fun or happy, friendships make a huge difference in the way that we feel about ourselves and our lives. Get your healthy dose of neurotransmitters in. I think the best neurotransmitters to really focus on is dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin. And there's ways to get those naturally. Those supplements are great. There are some correlations between gut and brain, well, quite a bit actually. So taking care of your gut is really important, but doing things is even greater. So singing, dancing, movement, getting out in the sun, these things help us thrive, not just survive. Forgiveness. Forgiving others is so important to our well-being. Think about it this way. Not forgiving others and holding on to stored trauma is like drinking poison, waiting for the other person to feel it. We've all heard that. But look at it this way. In Chinese medicine, if you take our liver, for example, qi energy that goes through all around and keeping it successful and afloat, think about qi energy or vibes or however you want to put it. Everything is not static. It has frequency and energy that moves. When it gets stuck is when, for example, we hold on to anger, bitter, resentment, things like that. What happens is the water that is so a part of whether or not our organs are successful starts to ferment. And then paired with the frequency of those low vibrating emotions, it creates the perfect environment for dis-ease of the body. And that's when we get chronically ill. We cannot stay stagnant. We must let it flow through us and make the breakthrough out. All right, those were my 15 steps to living the kind of life you want to live, that you love to live. And this is an important step to that ikigai, where you're living a kind of life that's full of purpose, meaning, enjoyment, and a way for you to be successful. Until next time, sweet friends.